paper and pencil just to make some notes for later on. Okay, so welcome to this event. Bienvenue. Witamy serdecznie, welcome, and so on. Diversity does make a good meeting, and these meetings are open to everybody, not just people from PMI. The agenda, very briefly, we will have a quick introduction into PMI Switzerland for those of you outside to have a little bit of knowledge about the resources and the wealth of interaction that we afford for you. Also to encourage PMI members to be involved. We'll introduce, of course, the session, the speakers, facilitators rather. We'll have, of course, the workshops that you've come to. There'll be quite interactive sessions with the possibility for question and answers. And then, of course, we'll close the session because it's quite important that we go over the next events, next steps, feedback. Your feedback is very important. This is an Agile event, feedback very important. And, of course, for your PDUs. So moving swiftly along, the PMI Switzerland chapter is a fantastic place. I've been with it for over a year, a wealth of opportunity, a huge number of people. There's nearly 1,700 members, new members joining at a frequent rate. If you want to go deeper into the organization, that's 118 volunteers doing things like I'm doing right now. It is getting out of your comfort zone. It is doing new things. It is being professionally active. We do social good workshops for young adults and the youth, boot camps. There's a mentors network. You can get a mentor. You can be a mentee. You can become a mentor. So there's a lot of opportunity. There's obviously a lot of networking opportunity, maybe in the special circumstances that we are in at the moment. It is a little bit more difficult, but that's why we try and do these interactive sessions, and I think you'll enjoy this. Social media is very important because of, oh, somebody's asking for a bigger screen. It looks a bit pressed. Is that a bigger screen? We do encourage you to be active on social media. It is a good way to network, to become visible. Social media slide. On social media, we are quite active, both on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Do, as I say, be active. It is good to, if you see somebody posting something, make a comment, ask a question. It'll help get the message out. It'll help your visibility. And you might get the reciprocation from your colleagues when you want to post something, which you're, of course, welcome to do so via the PMI website. Today's facilitators, I've had a lot of opportunity, fun, and in fact, a huge honor to work with both María Cortés Astudillo and Nicolas from Agile Swiss. There's a huge diversity in what they represent, but one thing was for certain, a very agile mindset. We progressively elaborated the scope today, and as part of that, I will now hand over to Nicolas, who will introduce himself in a little bit more detail, and he will introduce María. So over to you, Nicolas. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Patrick. Good evening, everybody. Just can I add something, Patrick? Fasten your seatbelt. Seatbelt fasten, I think is better at the end. Then thanks for the introduction. Thanks for all this. It was great. Let me introduce myself. I'm Nicolas Pages. I'm working for more than 20 years on IT, most of the time on SAP solution. I started my journey on Product Owner in 2000 in SAP company. I used to promote the SAP and Internet solution through multiple customers. It was on B2B channel at this time in 2000. I continued my journey in 2007 in Nestle company in supply chain, where I used to promote solution associated to warehouse optimization. I used to practice this muscle for multiple time. I wish to present you the guideline of this session. It will take 90 minutes, and we want to give you some idea of the mindset we want to promote with you. Can you go to the next slide, Patrick, please? Then we are coming from Agile Association in Switzerland, and we wish to to give some idea on the mindset for this session. Then respect, it's 90 minutes, but you will see we have a short session of discussion. Then we need to listen each other and let the people speak. Remember the time we have. We used to promote the learning by doing, then it's experience, and this session is really experience. Then feel free to participate. We are not here to judge, we just need here to participate and to give our experience. And naturally optimist, because we know the benefit of failing, but we need to be also optimist and keep and stay on positive value. Then let me introduce you now, María Cortés, and the floor is yours, María.
Hello, everybody. I am María Cortés Astudillo. I am an Agile coach and I'm an industrial engineer. I have been also working as traditional project manager. I am PMP certified, Scrum Master certified, Product Owner certified. And I am also a positive discipline facilitator for parents, for school, and for companies, and a member of Agile Swiss as Nicolas. And today we are here representing the Agile Swiss Association. It's an association where the goal is to promote the agility in Switzerland. So you are more than welcome to join us if you are interested in the agility. It's more French speaking than English speaking. So today we are here to talk about the product owner. And so the product, yes, thank you, Patrick. So the product owner is a role that it's sometimes it's not very clear. It's an agile is the Scrum framework. Is a role in the Scrum Agile framework, and we give a lot of importance to the Scrum Master, and we talk about the Scrum Master, but sometimes the product owner role is not clear. So the product owner for you is what you see in this slide. So, and the goal of this this session is that between all of us, everything is going to be more clear for you. So for you, it's inspiring curiosity, it's necessary, it's listening to everybody. For some people, it's creating uncertainty, and also it can be slow. So let's discover together what is the product owner. And for that, what we did is that in the registration form, when you register for this session, we ask you some questions about the product owner. So between Nicolas and I, we classify this question and we group in two different topics that you are going to see. And today here, we are not here as experts, we are here as facilitators. So we are all going to discover together the product owner role. And for that, we are going to create a sharing space where some people are going to share their experience, and you are going to be able to ask questions to these people. So let's move forward. So Patrick, if you can. Okay. So we are going to start with the first activity, and so we are going to create two circles. Okay, so imagine that you are not in a virtual meeting. Imagine that you are in a face-to-face meeting, and we are all in the same room. So what we are going to do is that we are going to create a circle, a small circle in the center. That is what we are going to call the inner circle. Okay, and in this inner circle, we are going to have four persons that has already an experience as product owner or that has been working closely with the product owner. Around them, we will have what we call the outer circle. The rest of people in the meeting are going to be part of the outer circle. So the concept is the following. For 7 minutes in the inner circle, these four people are going to discuss about the product owner position. They are going to answer the question, the good, the bad, and the ugly about the product owner role. The person that are going to be in the outer circle are going to listen, and then they will have some time to think about questions. And then you're going to discuss together, 2 by 2 in a breakdown room about the questions. You're going to choose one question, and then we are going to go back to the room, to the main room, and we are going to ask the question to the inner circle. So I hope that is clear for you. Do you have any question about the format? You have to mute to ask questions.
Did everybody? So if there are any questions, please fire away. Otherwise, I think we can go ahead. You can, of course, participate by chat as well.
Okay. So is there any volunteer who would like to be in the inner circle?
People.
Any 3 volunteers?
Is a sharing meeting, then feel free to come. We will answer all together this question. I will facilitate this circle, then come and share.
I volunteer.
Thanks.
Thank you, Goran. So we have Goran in the main circle, in the inner circle, we call it like that. Anybody else?
I would love to finish speaking, but one of the challenges I think that most of us will have is that the product owner and Agile is something new to us, and we would like to understand more and experience more. Therefore, not having experience as a product owner, we will not add much value on the inner cycle, I guess.
So, as you said, it's better if you have experience, but if you have been working with a product owner, for me, it's going to be okay.
I can volunteer as well for the inner circle.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I will take the liberty of renaming you with a little IC before your name. So this will be useful for organization later on.
Last one, and don't worry, I'm here also to help and to give you
so it's
help.
I did not see who volunteered. The second volunteer is Kathleen.
It was Heidi.
Heidi, okay, thank you. Sorry, Kathleen. Heidi, okay. So anybody else?
And we go like this. Fine. Maria, if you want.
Okay, so it's not clear for me who is in the. We have G Cameron too, who is volunteering.
We have Goran and Heidi.
Heidi, and I see a hand. I see a hand.
JC Cameron. Okay.
Yeah, JC Cameron.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the goal is that the 4 persons that are in the inner circle, they feel like if they are only, so they are discussing together without us. And for that, what we are going to ask is that we are going to ask to the inner circle person to turn on the camera if you do not mind. And for the outer circle people, I'm going to ask you to turn off the camera. Also, also we are going to remove the slide, Patrick, like that we can see the 4 persons on the inner circle. Is that okay for everybody?
And let's go. We go, Maria?
No, we cannot go. So I'm waiting for Patrick to remove the slides. Like that we can see, I can have, okay, thank you.
Super.
Okay, thank you. Are you, so how are we going to do? So now I have to be careful because I'm using I have technical issues. So everybody in the inner circle, you are going to have 1 minute to discuss, to say what do you think about the good, the bad, and the ugly about the product owner position. And the timekeeper, and any time that when the minute is over, I'm going to make this sound. I think that you can hear it. It's okay. And yes. Then you will have 3 minutes to discuss all together. Okay.
You want to
yeah.
go?
So who wants to start?
Heidi, you want to start? Just woman first. Heidi, you want to just to share?
Okay, yes. Sorry, but I have
Simple.
some troubles with the camera, so
It's
you might
fine,
not see
it's
me.
fine.
So sorry.
Okay. Go ahead.
Then your experience in the role of project owner, what is the ugly, the good, the bad?
Yeah, I have been working closely with, I have been head of software development and partially like product owner. So that's my experience. And currently I work close to a product owner, trying to teach him what the product owner actually should do. So the good is, I think, if it's done correctly, it's very good to have like, and to state a clear vision where the product actually is heading. Also to have like an overview over all the stakeholders who have wishes to the product. So that is, in my opinion, the good part, that there is one person who has this overview. The bad part is more like if this person doesn't take the responsibility of exactly giving this vision and having the overview. Okay, sorry.
No, it's great. It's great. It's great. There's a lot of information. It's nice. Goran, you want to go?
The bell, please.
Start. Go. It's me who
Okay.
gives the bell.
Okay, so I can repeat what Heidi said. I also worked as a product owner, and the role of the product owner is crucial for me because product owner controls the scope of the project and the product. The good thing about that is, yes, having the vision and having somebody who is in position to control and to actually manage the scope, and by managing the scope also the schedule and the cost. The bad and the ugly thing is that that person is in the center of all participants, all of the stakeholders, and the ugly things happen when there is a conflict between, let's say, development team and the client or various stakeholder, and then the product owner is usually in a very bad position, trying to somehow match very often contradictory requests and possibilities.
Great. Great outcome. Jason, you want to continue?
Yeah, for me, the good is always that you get to shape a product. You get to really define and realize a strategy. The bad is you have to really be over everything. You know, it doesn't stop. You are on customers, you're on the feeding development, you're feeding everything. The ugly is you are the face of the project, and you cannot make everybody happy. You often have a scope or a vision of where you want to get to, but often that's beyond what can be delivered, which is good to have that strategy and vision, but it's also a challenge to accept that sometimes you just can't get there. So for me, that's really the three factors there.
Yeah, and let me share my experience. I will link the positive and the negative associated to the vision and also the organization. On different activity I've done, you discuss with the business and it's clear what they want. You try to take the best value and try to deliver something which give idea for them. And most of my complexity and the ugly part was that sometimes you are not viewed as a project owner. And then at the stakeholder, it's always hard because people sometimes are pushing to have some development before some others, and sometimes it can break, let's say, the energy or the stuff you want to build. And it is breaking the vision, and because you are not viewed as a strong role in the organization.
Now I remember you have 3 minutes to discuss together about the product owner position.
Okay, then I wish to hear you about the stakeholder and the way you work and the way you see idea that you work with a product owner, even you were head of software. Any experience?
In my experience, the part that is difficult is I have a product owner who actually comes from software development, so he knows the technical part. So the main part is then really that he actually gives already the solution.
Okay.
And this is quite difficult in my opinion, because I want the developers actually to come with the best solution, so this is in my opinion the biggest challenge I face when the product owner discusses the how, not the what. So I'm not sure how the others see this or have similar experience.
Same, Jason, Goran, same feeling?
That is the
about
trap yes, please.
Go.
That is the trap that I fall into, because I have very strong, I come from development and then have advanced to architecture and then project management and product ownership, also Scrum Master, and that I sometimes mix my roles as somebody who proposes the solution or somebody who analyzes the needs and the requirements. So yes, that would be I think, but yes, let's say kind of being a domain expert is more important for a product owner than being a developer or a software architect. I do agree.
A general question, did you work on a big project or big product in multiple team, or it was always a small product, small team? Jason, any?
I've worked in both, and for me, I think the hard part as a product owner is that competing. And I'd agree with what Goran says. You need to be more domain rather than. You have to understand enough to ask the right questions with the development team. Because sometimes that's hardware, sometimes that's software, sometimes it's systems or processes, and focus on the domain and really engaging with, whether it's sometimes it's stakeholders, sometimes it's end users, sometimes it's customers. And I think was touched on there before is balancing those the priorities and the needs. The stakeholders may want to go one way and the customer's like, I don't want that. And to then convince the stakeholders who don't want to listen to the customers or even competing views, and that even when it's conflicting to your own is hard.
Okay.
Okay, time is over for now. So now that somebody be muted. Okay, thank you. So now you can put your camera on if you want. Yes, I'm going to put my camera on because I feel better when I see you. Okay, I'm going to ask you to take 1 minute to think about a question that you would like to ask to the inner circle. Inner circle, the people in the inner circle, is some time for you to rest. For the others, we think about one question that we would like to ask to the inner circle, based it on the discussion, or maybe something that has not been answered for you. Okay? So time is counting now. 1 minute. Okay, So now Patrick is going to create breakdown rooms where you are going to be by pair in a breakdown room, and you are going to discuss together about the question that you would like to ask, and you are going to try to choose one question between both of you, the two that are in the breakdown room. So do you have any question about what is coming next?
María, Félix speaking. It's not clear to me how you are going to organize these breakout rooms. It's going to be two different Zoom. How do you are going to do it?
I've created the rooms. You've been assigned to a room. So when we say go, or Maria says go, then I just press open all rooms. You go to that room. You'll already have a partner to discuss with. The room will be open for 5 minutes. You choose that question, and then there'll be a timer to let you know when the time is up, and you'll come straight back into this room automatically.
Yeah, Patrick, I think that 3 minutes is enough for the breakdown room.
3 minutes?
Or maybe we can give 4 minutes like that. Also, you can do some networking. So we maximum 4 minutes. If you finish before and you can come to the main room, you can come to the main room.
Okay. Okay. It'll be 4 minutes.
Okay. Is clear for everybody? Do you have any question?
Let's go then.
Yes. So let's.
And be creative for your question. Then Jason, Goran, and Heidi, we are alone. If you want to speak about, we have 4 minutes to share a bit your experience.
It's a kind of magic.
Yeah, exactly. We have a break. I don't know, based on your experience, if you already got issue with the planning and stuff like this associated to the project owner. I think we'll have some question because we'll have some PM people. It will be interesting to share. And generally, we have other question regarding other methodology than Scrum and product owner in the way we have the project. But let's see.
I mean, when as you said, like planning, I see the planning more like on the prioritization for the product owner, and everything else, like the detailed planning, is like, I mean, we use Scrum, so it's in my opinion, it's the Scrum team actually, but the priority needs to be fixed by the product owner. So.
Exactly. But some question we got, and probably you write some of them also, it's this correlation sometimes on people who used to do waterfall on the planning, and because it's a PMP meeting, probably we'll have some question like this. Let's see. And thanks anyway for your sharing, it was great.
I don't know how the others do it. Like, I mean, we have as well like classical project managers still. So that's usually like messing up things a little bit.
Yes, exactly. But it's the beauty of the job. You know, there's in a Scrum, there's one thing. It's easy. It's really easy method, but it's hard to implement. And I tell you, you can be 3 or 20 at the end. It's painful. But
I think that's, for me, that is, I think most of us are in mixed organizations.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we're in the, you know, you have, okay, this team's is in a Scrum or an Agile project, whichever methodology, Scrum, Kanban, whatever, but the rest of the organization is in a classical, and that naturally brings a level of conflict or a level of not a gap in understanding. And your thing moves really quickly and then hits a wall and can't move because it's waiting on another dependency. It's not that it's dependent on a waterfall spectrum, it's just dependent because I can't do this until I've got that piece.
Exactly. I used to make Zen thinking, and I love this approach. And I've done a meeting with people from Roche, you know, the pharmaceutical. And I was surprised because we done this in Nestlé and it was crap in a way that we start in the lower level and it never go up. And the guys explained that in Zen thinking, in 3 years, they educate the people. I was so surprised. I said, but how you done? It's easy. We done at the top level first to explain the benefit of the solution, of the method. And after we cascade down. And I was surprised that after 3 years, in fact, the team was in the mindset. Then you have always some people doing something different, but it was really, and I was impressed by the fact that the guy was saying, we done it, It's working. It takes 3 years, and people accept not to lose 3 years, but to win. But it's right what you said. It's amazing. It's this what we used to call this cowboy approach. You know, you mixed.
I currently participate in a project where I am an Agile product owner and Scrum Master, and but the project itself is traditional. So I am also required to provide fixed term planning, to provide the exact dates while I'm, you know,
it's a cowboy.
Scrum
cowboy.
Yeah,
Right.
I can tell you.
Time is up for the time is up for the 4-minute breakout rooms, so we'll close them all. Yes.
Yeah. And important, we stay on 1 minute. We have to go fast and simple to like this. Everybody can be happy in the feedback.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll close. Okay. Now they get the 60 seconds.
Huh.
Some people were leaving their pair, and so I had to assign the person who left behind on their own to another room. So we had a little bit of last minute changes.
Then here we have 8 or 10 minute discussion, Jason, ID, and Goran. And let's go to be direct. If we have a question, we'll see probably another session. Let's try to give our vision in a simple way.
Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
So how it was for you in the breakdown room?
We were alone at the beginning.
How many people did you have in your breakdown room? Is everybody back now?
Everybody should be back.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, just one comment from an organizational point of view. I noticed that despite everybody being put in pairs, some people left or disappeared or did not join the room, but were not in the main room. And so the person who was on their own, I put into another room. But most people were in pairs.
Okay, good. Thank you. It's okay. So let's be agile when we face with that. So now I would like you to share your questions. So I'm going to take, for now, I'm going to take 4 questions. So can you please give us the 4 questions? For the group where I was, please do as I was not in the group. So if you want to share the question now, let's go. So who wants to share the question? I'm going to get 4 questions. And then when we are going to have the 4 questions, the inner circle will go for 10 minutes to answer the questions.
8. We go to 8 and plus 2.
Okay,
remember we said.
Okay, 8 minutes to answer the question. Wow.
Okay, I'm happy to raise a question. What would you say are the key behaviors that a product owner should have to be a successful product owner?
Okay.
I would give 1. I would say you have to.
I'm taking. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm taking 4 questions and then do the skills. Okay.
Apologize.
Thank you. What are the key behaviors? If you could not mind, Matt, can you please write it down on the chat, like that we will have all the questions together?
By all means, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So any other question?
I work with Stefan. We were in pair. And the question is how the product owner will maximize the value of the product to deliver.
Okay.
I was in the group with Stephanie and Philippe, and the question was, what are the 3 key competencies of a product owner? So more going into soft skills, for example.
Okay, thank you.
We have a fourth question that maybe Katalin can go ahead. Katalin, please.
Okay, thank you. So the question is that, can you please share 2 best practices, how to balance between the wish of the client and the capacity, what is possible to deliver?
Okay. Okay.
And we take the number 5 that we'll give to the group after you want. We do it now. We take it.
1 minute, please. I'm taking notes. Okay. First, I will ask a question to everybody in the outer circle. Now that you know the questions that we have, is there anybody who would like to join also the inner circle?
I don't mind, Felix speaking.
Okay, so go ahead. You will discuss with the inner circle too. Is that okay, Nico?
Fine, fine.
Okay, so the 4 questions that we have. What are the key behaviors needed to be a successful product owner? How the product owner will maximize the value of the product to deliver? Can you please share 2 best practices to balance between fulfilling the expectation of the client and the capacity of the dev team? And the 3 competencies of a product owner, the 3 key competencies, and mainly soft skills. Okay, is clear for everybody? Okay, so we are going to do the same. So we are going, maybe we go for 8 minutes of discussion. Nico, you said 8 is okay?
It's fine. We'll go to 8, even 10 is fine.
Okay, let's go to 8. And we are going to create this inner circle. So we are going to switch off the camera. Okay? And they are going to.
Okay. Then, who wants to start? For the behavior, my personal vision, it's and it's associated for me also the competency. You need this transparency and also you need to be able to be understood by everybody and the team, the development team, but also the customer, and be really good in this discussion approach and understanding. Then be clear, be efficient in the discussion, and catch the real need of the customer.
I think you also need to be a good negotiator so that you actually get what you want and don't just like give in to whoever shouts the loudest. So I think negotiation is like one of the skills that's really needed to align every one of the stakeholders on the product. So I think it goes a little bit in all the in like the 3 questions about the competencies, behaviors, and as well maximize the value in a way.
Mm. The question, now that I'm looking closely, the first question and the 4th question are pretty similar, no? We are talking about behaviors and we are talking about competencies. To a certain extent, we are talking about the same. What can we expect for the product owner either to do or to know how to do it to make it happen? Maybe we could combine both, no?
And so the same, but I somehow consider maybe hard and soft skills like, but I would say that yes, understanding and listening is crucial for the product owner. So the product owner, if he has strong domain experience, he could help the customer to kind of shape and formulate the requirements, but he should restrain from imposing his own requirements to development team. And if he has a development background, he should actually also, it is good to be able to understand and talk to developers about the solution, but he should refrain from imposing his own solution to the other side. So listening and understanding, but without imposing personal views, because it is not eventually the product owner who will produce or use the product, but it is to him, on him to combine and to make the two parties agree on
the respect,
the final product. Yeah.
Respect of the others with openness.
So listening and understanding, I would say, key competencies and key.
Jason, you want to add some idea?
Yeah, I think I agree. You know, it is really down to the communication skills, and you know, I often use the phrase in coaching other product owners is you have two ears and one mouth. You need to listen twice. You need to be firm though in the strategy and the direction. You know, that because at times you have to listen to the stakeholders and to the customer, but at other times you have to be very firm with the development team. I want this. And also that trust factor is a critical part. You know, you have to trust that they know what and that the how. You need to know the what I want it to do. How it does it, I don't really want to see I don't want to see behind the curtains. Just make it work. You know, and express it very much in, I want it to switch on. That sort of thing. And be very firm. And don't get bogged. It's hard when you have a technical background not to get bogged into the details, but you just have to say, I want it to do this.
What is important what you said, and I take also what Goran said, and Eddie and Felix, the listening is important, because after, if you are clear on your need and it's clear what you want, and you ask them clearly the sequence of the product backlog and what you want to do, you also have the respect to share with the people, and you have the respect coming back to you, because you know exactly, and you are strong on the product and the vision, and if you have the trust of the team, it's just a mechanism, you know. And I agree with what you said is important, the listening and respect.
I think the other part, just sorry, Philippe, is to also recognize when you're out of your depth, and that's a hard part, and and lean on others, whether that's to facilitate a session between customers and stakeholders or whatever, to get that vision. And I think that's, and to really lean on others. You still retain the decision rights, but use others so that it's also not you facilitating and making the decision, because sometimes that gets that I think that to break that, if you can, it's really good.
Yes, I want to tell you that you have 3 minutes left to answer the question. So I'm not doing this time, I'm not doing, so it's up to you to manage your time. 3 minutes now.
Okay, let's go to
we need to move to the other one. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Nicolas,
the maximize product. Let's go, and after let's try also to the best practice. Then 1.5 minutes, and
I mean, in my opinion, they all actually they are connected together, all the questions, because we discussed already like how to get like the best out. And as Jason said, it's about like leaning on, but as well trusting that the others know what they are doing. And I think this is similar, like as well, the negotiation part for the what's best practice in a way. So it's always a negotiation in my opinion, and the trust that all the others actually know what they are doing, and it's so that you can bring it all together without like having the feeling you have to control or you have to interfere.
But on the maximize, you have some example that you share already, or you see the way you can maximize fastly in some way. We used to say in Agile that, you know, you see the value of the product because of the velocity, the customer satisfaction. But do you have an example of practice?
In my opinion, it's often the prioritization that you prioritize correctly, and sometimes prioritize as well together with the capacity. So if you have like a capacity to do the second priority, but not the capacity for the first one, you might better do the second one instead of the first. So, so this kind of, you still get something out of it instead of having nothing in the end. So that's my example, basically, where you have a trade-off between capacity and priority.
And the product backlog, let's say, order will help to maximize this value.
Yes.
Taking into account the capacity and all this, because the development of the Scrum team will help to accelerate this. Yeah. I got an example from top guys in Scrum, and I was always surprised that sometimes he done a project of 1.5 years on Scrum. I was, wow, 1.5 years, and the way they maximize with deliver every day they used to deliver, and for my learning, they said the customer was very happy because he saw the solution moving as he was also moving in his head. It was also a way to see the value directly and different experience.
Yeah, it's like perceived value.
One of the challenges, I'm new, I'm only a theorist. I'm interested in Agile and I just read books, go to workshops, but I did not work in practice. But I've been working in software deployment, the famous SAP deployment. And when I saw Agile, I said, oh, that will be fantastic to implement Agile in software deployment, because we can provide different releases of the SAP. But I have not seen this in practice. Nobody's been able to tell me that this is being done in practice, only in software development.
It will come. We will create it for them.
Okay. Count on me, because I'm really interested on seeing this. It's a kind of area that I said, why not? Sorry, Maria.
Okay, I apologize. Now it's time to move forward. So the question has been answered. Is there anybody? Is there anybody that has another question? I'm giving 1 extra minute to answer the last question about the product owner position. So is there anybody who has a question that has not been answered?
Please type it.
Or unmute and you ask.
Yeah, I was asking in the inner cycle that how is that Agile is not being used in software deployment, and it's being used mainly in software development. I mean by software deployment, implementation of ERP solutions like SAP, etc.
It's a good question.
But this is actually used. So the company I was before, that it was actually used. So we had like this, what's usually going like under DevOps as well. So we had this more agile deployment, but it requires as well the customer to understand what happens, because many customers prefer the more like, okay, I get all at once and then it works. So it's like several sides, and you have to get the customer as well to accept this different way of delivering.
I will just add something in deployment, because we have a deployment that, you deliver and you deploy like this. But in SAP, we also think about deployment in a rollout of multiple countries. We work on a solution when I was in Nestle to deploy warehousing solution, solution with warehousing, and we try to create a solution that you click on a button and 80% is customized and is done, and you can say, okay, my rollout is done in 1 week. Imagine, in multiple warehouse. I think it's still under construction.
Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. So now we are going to move forward to the next part of this session. Stefan, I saw your question. I'm going to try to answer your question in the next circle. And I'm handing over to Nicolas. Nico?
Yes.
We can put the camera on, and Nico is facilitating now.
Okay. Then we will do some exercise, but we will just switch the facilitator and people in the inner cycle. Then my question will be that do we have people who want to join in the inner cycle? And can you please show the screen, Patrick? Like this, I will present.
It looks like we have an issue with the.
Then let me tell
Okay,
you the topic. Then in this one, we will speak about the different, let's say, how can I say? Sorry, my bad for the wording. We'll speak about. Excuse me, I take the slide. The multiple role of product owner in a time of Agile. Then share a story of your product owner journey from a challenge that you face while transitioning from the project manager role. Then we will try to answer some question regarding this question and what are the different role that a product owner can have in his journey. Then we'll do the same exercise. We will take 7 minutes, 4 minutes that people will explain what they need, what is feedback on such question. 3 minutes they will speak all together on the solution, and we will do this outer circle discussion in separate group. Then do you want we change the circle? Do we have 3 volunteers to join the inner circle? Three volunteers?
3 new volunteers, yes?
Yes, 3 new volunteers.
Existing volunteers stay or
let's propose so people if want to share, if you want to participate, because it's an interactive workshop, as we said. If they want, otherwise, there's nobody, we stay as this group, if you want to stay. Nobody wants? We stay in the same group?
I would actually like to go in the outer circle now, so.
Yes, it will be great. I think it's a shared experience. This fishbowl approach that we propose, it's really interesting.
So that's Heidi, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Someone to replace Heidi. Don't worry, the group is doing the job. It's always like this. The learning comes from the group.
Okay, maybe if I can help here to the persons that are on the room. So we are going to talk about the interaction of the product owner with other roles, which we mean is the project manager, the scrum master, business analyst, and stakeholder. So if you do not have experience about product owner, but you have experience on any of these roles, it can be helpful to have you on the inner circle. Like that, we can see also how do you feel about the interaction of the product owner with your role. Stefan, can I?
Who replace Heidi?
Me, Stefan.
Okay, super.
Stefan.
Nobody else want to join to replace people from the inner cycle? 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Nicolas, are you going to do the timekeeper?
Yes, I will.
Okay, good. So you will make some sound. Okay, thank you.
Exactly. Then we have 4 minutes. I will stop you after, let's say, every 1 minute. And after 4 minutes, we have 3 minutes to discuss all together on the topic. Okay? Then, María, then everybody should close the screen, shut down the camera, and we let the 4 people speaking. You can go.
Yes, then I will start as the new guy in the inner circle. I have no experience with product owner. Today I'm joining to learn more about this, but what I can tell you is that when I did something like a product owner, I have the problem or the challenge that I'm used to be a project manager who telling the people what to do and who give the decision, the way that we go. But as a product owner, I should only tell the people what I want from them. But it was hard for me to not guide the people to my goal, only to tell the people what is the goal. So for me, this is the challenge when I became project owner, not helping to develop the goal.
Thanks. Who want to Continue.
As I said before, I do not have experience as product owner, but the more I look into it, for me, looks like what in many companies is called business project manager. What I mean by this is that in many projects, there are two legs: the IT, who is deploying the solution, and the business, who is in contact with the stakeholders, capturing requirements, and then handing these requirements over to the IT team. So this kind of business project manager, I think, has a lot of similarities with this product owner. You need to know about how to articulate the requirements properly, but you cannot instruct how to do it technically, because there is another leg, that is the IT, that need to do this technically. And the main challenges will be the balancing between what your business is telling you that they want to have, sometimes it's not clear, and what IT can deliver in the time frame that is required.
Okay, interesting. Who else? You have still time.
For me, as as a project manager, for example, in the challenging is estimates. So as a traditional project manager, I would go to development team, and then I would ask for all activities on the list estimates. And usually people would give already padded estimates with their own somehow risk views. And then I would have some hard time understanding and obtaining the let's say, clear estimates, and then understanding risks in a way that I could calculate and add and expose possible risks to the project team and to be able to calculate that. Then, as a product owner in the Agile way, I would not ask people for the estimates. We would go to kind of estimate the complexity of a task or a user story in terms of story points, and then as the team would develop, then we would try to calculate the velocity in terms of how many man hours is taking for a story point to be able to estimate that.
Super, thanks, Goran. Sorry, it's bad, my bad to do this, but thanks is interesting because PM view is always good to get. Maria, you want to share?
Yes, I can share. So I transitioned from a project manager position to a PO, product owner position. And I think that the most difficult thing, it was trusting the team. Because being a project manager, you are always, you are managing everything, the timelines, and you have everything under your control, the development team, the estimations. And when you are a product owner, all the part of building the product is hand over to the development team, and you have to trust the team. So it's not what I want. It's not going to be in the way that I want to do it in a technical way. It's the team who is choosing that, and you have to trust. Also, other thing is that a product owner is the main carry the vision. Okay.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks. It's interesting for this. Then it was very valuable to get this different vision and from different role. You have 3 minutes now to.
Nicolas, I think that Jason is in the inner circle too.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yes, you have Jason. Sorry, I apologize because of 4 + 5. Let's go, Jason. Sorry, I apologize.
No,
let's go.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. You pass the turn, then you are ready. You make a break for the answer. I wish you to speak during 3 minutes and share about multiple stuff. And I saw Stephanie putting some interesting question regarding PO, who had been a classic PM in the past. Did you have a mini issue to perform your new role? Then in your experience, you have 3 minutes to speak and to share again your experience on this role change, and probably you can also answer this switch, or you practice the switch. You have 3 minutes.
For me, the main challenge is to take your hands off. As an IT project manager, or what we call project manager, you are very hands-on. You instruct the development team what to do, and as a product owner, that I see it as a business project manager, you need to provide requirements, understand which are the risks, but you need to let the development team to do the work. And I think this is one of the bigger challenges, kind of losing this control.
For me, also, it was the stakeholder management, because when you transition from traditional to agile, the things are not that fixed. So how are you managing the expectations, the stakeholders' expectations too? So how are you going to tell them, the business, that we may not do everything, that things are going to change, and also it's a question of trust. And you are representing also the customer, so it's something that is very important. So you are your role is to maximize the value of what you are building. It's not what one stakeholder or somebody wants. So it's the customer, the users. So that also is important. So sometimes you have to say to stakeholders that no, we are not going to do that because it's not in the vision, it's not aligned with the vision, and it's not in our objective. So that has to be very clear too. So Goran?
I would say that, okay, I mean, scope control is I would say, the same thing. I mean, same responsibility in Agile and traditional. But for me, the biggest difference is that as a project manager, you actually need to provide sometimes, even in a rolling way or iterative approach, you need to provide certain estimates. I mean, okay, currently what I'm expected is to say, when my sub-project in Agile manner will be over, so that the next guy, the next team can start their thing. And I'm trying to, let's say, postpone that decision until things become more clear. And this is the thing that is kind of mostly okay. So in Agile way, I would like to expose all things that change and all things that change and that affect the development team in a way that everybody is aware of it. And if they ask me how to provide an estimate, then I would say, okay, freeze all the conditions, and I will give you the frozen estimate.
Okay. So other thing that I would like to share with you is that to do this transition, I got training. So I passed the Scrum Master and the Product Owner certification, and also I had in the team we had a coach. So we have one coach for the business, and another coach for the development team. And I think that it was very
time.
Okay.
Thanks for this, María. Sorry I took you. Then thanks for all this. Then I can ask to the outer circle to show them now. Think about, you have 1 minute to think about one question. You know this. Think about one question, and after we will create this this group of discussion. Then you have 1 minute to think about one question.
Nicolas, one question from me. After this 1 minute, we open the breakout rooms, yes?
Yes.
And again for 4 minutes with,
yes.
Okay, cool.
Patrick, I think that you can remove the slide.
It's finished. Okay, then let me stop this. Then now we go to this break room, 4 minutes for the group of 2 people. Then think about one question and we will do the exercise just after. Patrick, it's for you.
Okay, guys, so I'm opening all the rooms. You should be assigned with somebody else with a bit of luck, and enjoy your time there. There will be 4 minutes inside with a 30-second countdown.
Jason, you are still in the inner circle. No question for you.
Okay, it's okay. I'm happy to contribute, but I was just conscious of time and wanted to let things flow because I think there wasn't, we'd covered all the key factors. So from my side.
How did you find this format? How do you find it? Do you like it?
I'm just wondering, sorry guys, there's one person who for some reason doesn't have a partner. I don't know if their partner disappeared. Would somebody like to join?
Yes, me.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, what was the question before, Maria?
Yes. So do you like the format? I mean, did we have a fishbowl, an inner circle, outer circle?
I think it's good. The time boxing is helpful. You know, the art part of it is to sometimes know when to let it slide and when to be rigid on the time box. Is probably my rough thinking, and the hard part for me is not knowing how much time. And when I'm facilitating the similar time boxed events, I was using it today. I have one of these.
Good. I'm going to it. So it's a time. So you use it. So you.
Yeah, you can, and I typically just I connect. So it's quite big, as you can see. It's the size of my face. But when and then I quite often connect my mobile. I have my computer, and another device, and I put that camera projector there, and it helps. And I still often use sound, but this does have sound, but you can switch it on or switch it off. But what I find is having the visual.
Yes.
And it's quite big, so you can see. You don't have to know exactly, but you can say, "Oh, time's up" or "Time's nearly up." That would be probably my feedback.
It's super good feedback. I think that I'm going to buy one. If you can send me, if you guys have the time timer, you go like that.
Timer. It's about, I don't know, $20 on Amazon, I think.
Yeah.
Do it today or tomorrow. It's the Amazon Prime Days, Maria. You'll get a discount.
My Agile coach had one like this, so yeah, I remember.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea.
It's a super idea. I think that for the next, if we get a question, I think that could be good also to answer in the next inner circle. I mean, in the question, if we can say also that it's important, the retrospective. I mean, having feedback, giving feedback, that is something that is important also for a product owner. And I appreciate, Jason, that you give me the feedback.
Yeah, no problems. Or the other way that I often do when I'm facilitating more design thinking or design sprints is using Klaxoon or Mural, and then that way you don't have to break out. You can just do that. You can then get people to vote, or you cluster the questions, and it depends. Sometimes sound and sometimes no sound. You have to know your audience or what your objectives as the facilitator is there. That would be, and it's just, no, I don't think one thing is right or wrong. It's just a matter of what works for you as a facilitator and for the group and the size. That's yeah, they're the two things I would probably just comment on.
Everyone will be back in about 5-6 seconds.
Okay.
Then let me go to the converse.
Good. Hello, back.
Okay, everybody's back. Patrick?
Yes, everyone is back, and we've got
Super.
about 13 minutes to finish up the
Okay,
session
then we
before closing.
will have the 10 minutes, sorry, to finish this part. I want 4 questions from the group for now. Who wants? I will write the question in the chat. Tell me.
Here, Natalia. I was in the same group room with Matt. My question regards how much the certification, the PO certification, can help into the transition from the project manager or business analyst role into a product owner role. So if I should start tomorrow being a product owner, but today I'm not a product owner, I'm doing a different job, can the certifications help, and which one of them?
Okay, first question. I'll write it, I forgot to help. Okay, another question?
I have a question. We developed it with Philippe. So that's regarding transition from classical project manager to product owner. And for project manager, one of the focus is on delivery of the result of the product. And for product owner is more and organizing this delivery. And for product owner is more about governing requirements and actually testing these requirements against stories and requirements behind. So the question is how to structure testing, and especially not to test only new feature, but also to organize non-regression, that all old features are still functioning. If we have a short sprint, then everyone is focusing on new feature, but the old features are still need to be tested and
it's clear.
Provided. Right.
Super. Next one.
Yes, I was together with Heidi in a room, and our question is, can the Agile approach with the Scrum setup when the product owner really work if the entire organization is absolutely not Agile? So to say you have a project in an organization that you would like to do Agile, but the rest of the organization is not, I wouldn't say not wanting it, but is not really looking forward to do any change.
Okay. Last question. Question 4. Any volunteer?
Maybe I was with Adrian in the room, and we decided to ask about the problems we meet in my organization. I'm working at Swisscom, and we are developing now a software-defined network, a project with 20 million of Swiss francs. And yes, we are dealing with the problem about how the priorities, priorities of the development, how to defend them against the decision maker. And also we are dealing with the problem of not very, let's say, having most good developers to deliver on the time, because we are waiting about, we have not good, let's say, staff. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand. It's clear, probably we'll park at the end. The group, floor is yours. I give you 8 minutes.
So could
the
you
question is right.
the questions?
Then the question is on the chat.
Yeah,
You can read.
I'll start. So I think the question on certification, I think
I don't see in chat.
It's a good thing. Which one is the best one? That I'm agnostic. You know, there's Scrum Alliance, Scrum Org, all those, and thousands of others. What I think is it helps give you a different viewpoint and a discussion with others on what the expectations are. And I think that's probably the biggest win from any training is it's that discussion with others and what their experience has been and what's worked, to learn the small nuances of what's worked, what hasn't worked. If I touch on the other three questions, testing and does everything work? It's a challenge, and I would say it comes back to having a testing strategy and leaning on the Scrum Master to make sure that that's practiced, and the development team has a testing for each unitary element. But then as the product owner is to also have a view on testing and not necessarily do it yourself. Have one of the customers do it. Have somebody that you partner with. If you try and do everything yourself, you really are setting yourself up for failure. That's one thing I will say. And that probably bridges into that prioritization and with developers not delivering. I have a project like that right now. It's working out what's the right mix in the development team. You know, do I have all juniors? Do I have all seniors? Do I have a mix of skill sets in that skills and capabilities of in classical software? You know, do I have an architect? Do I have a senior developer? Do I have a junior developer? Do I have a tester? You know, how do I build that up instead of having, and it's the same with any team composition. You know, what is the right skills and capabilities for that mix? And then can Agile really work in non-Agile orgs? Yes. However, you need to make it clear what the roles and responsibilities are between the product owner and the Scrum Master and the development team. And you'll probably have to remind that several times throughout the project, particularly every time there's a conversational question. That's my, yeah, okay.
So do you have something else to add in the circle?
Yes, I think there's nothing to add in terms of the certificate. Exactly, the only thing that the certificate helps is the training. But for the last point, the testing, I would also add, if it is possible to have this in a non-agile structured company, I think it could work if it is only an isolated project. If it is something, install a new server, install a new work desk or office area that is not related to something outside, then it could work. But as soon as you have to include stakeholders or customers from other departments for other areas, and we are not allowed to help you because it's in the HR, it's not possible in a matrix organization maybe, then it will fail, I guess.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to add on what?
I'd like to add about the testing thing. As I did participate. Okay, where I participated, there was a separate QA department and development department. So in development, in Agile development team, there was always somebody who would do the testing. But then, yes, that would be, let's say, kind of feature test. I don't know, user story testing. But then, again, after the delivery of the sprint, after the release delivery, QA department would take that release and they would do the testing against the business requirements as received from the client. That did not necessarily have a one-to-one match with the user stories. And then non-regression and everything that would be, let's say, given to the QA department. But the Agile team would do of course, after unit testing, integration testing, we'll do this user story testing to confirm that development is satisfied and is okay with what they delivered, how they understood it.
4 minutes for the group, 4 minutes.
4 minutes, okay. Maybe I can add also, I don't know, do you have anybody else in the inner circle has something to add? Felix, maybe, do you have something to add? I'm not sure if you already add something.
No, yeah, no, I'm here. As I said, if I put the analogy with a kind of business project manager, the product owner, and regarding the question of agile in an agile company, at the end of the day, the company will like the project team, whatever we call it, agile waterfall, to deliver the requirements on time in full. If agile is able to do this, I do not see any reason why the project cannot work in an agile way, even in a non-agile company. It's a kind of the how. The what is I will deliver, what I promise I will deliver on time in full, and for that I need this and these roles. Maybe not putting it as agile like that, but implementing the roles and making it happen.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to add quickly. So for the product owner certification, what I can tell you that I went through. I'm certified product owner by Scrum Alliance and Scrum.org. And for me, the Scrum Alliance training was more tactical and the Scrum.org was more strategic. But that is my feeling. And I did not pass both of them at the same time. So I passed first Scrum.Alliance, so maybe it was more tactical, and I learned more about strategy later. So that is my feeling. Then about the delivery, for me, a product owner is always delivering value. So that's, I don't know from where it's coming, these things that is not delivering. The product owner is delivering value, and the team is helping the product owner to deliver this value. If the agile approach can work in an organization that is not agile, yes, that can work. Maybe it's going to be more difficult, but it can work. And sometimes it's starting like that. And I think that is the recommendation. Start in a small thing, a small project, and then it's going to grow up. About the testing, I would say that if you are concerned about the test, then talk about your team, talk about your Scrum Master. You have, in every sprint, you have a meeting where you are going to spend a time where you are going to think about how you can improve. So if you are not happy about the way that you are doing, go ahead and challenge the team and say, okay, guys, you did a great work, but the quality is not good. What can we do? And maybe the team is going to say, okay, maybe we have to take less user stories and improve it. Or maybe we have to add something in our definition of done or in our definition of ready. I mean, so what do we need before starting a user story, or what do we need to finish a user story? So that those things can be done in a retrospective. And about the priorities, so how you you set your priorities, I could also say that to have good priorities, you need to have a clear vision and a clear objective. So if your objectives are not clear and your vision is not clear, it's going to be very difficult to do the prioritization. So I don't know if you have something else to add here. I do not want to take more time, sorry.
Jason, 30 seconds for you.
Yeah, I'd pick up on that testing. And the biggest challenges as a product owner is to say, okay, stop developing, clean up your mess, and test. The team will hate you because we're all human and we like to do new things. We don't like to clean up the shit behind us, but the mess behind us. I've done it twice in 2 sprints and said, no more development, clean it up, testing that. The team hated it, but then they said at the end of the sprint and the following sprint, they said, thank you. It was the best thing that ever got done. It's a hard thing, but really that's one of the challenges.
Thanks for everybody. It's great. I'm sorry. I'm a bad guy to say stop. Thanks for all your experience. Sorry?
It was super fast. Go
Yes, yes. I put 8 because now we have to leave in 4 minutes and people also have to finish. And 4 for thanks for all your experience. It was great. Just my message, and if you want to share something, María, and we give the hand to Patrick.
Oh, thank you to everybody. I really enjoyed. So what we have been doing is we take the format from liberating structures. And if you want to know more, you can contact me or I can give you more information. So we make a liberating structure shorter today.
It's called Fishbowl for the other people.
Yes, and you can look for it on the internet. Fishbowl liberating structure, and you will get the information.
We propose this interactive. We hope you love it. It was a bit bumpy sometime, but it's part of the game.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So as we try to sort of publicize coming up to the event, part of the attraction is, of course, discussing the product owner. And I see there's a lot of topics, and maybe there's a lot of appetite still left for more discussion. The other thing is, of course, to experience a new facilitation format and to see the way that we try and engage you and give you the opportunity to get your voice heard and be part of the community and do something a little bit different than a kind of traditional webinar. So we've created these slides. We will share them with you so you can see some of the sort of backup material that we maybe fortunately didn't need to use, but it'll be there for you. And it's time that I need to wrap up, but do hang on until the end. So I'd just like to say many thanks to all the people that supported me. My name is Patrick Nostalek. Anything that went wrong, that's my fault. I was very warmly and professionally supported by Stefania Talanescu, the director of virtual events, and Philippe Supart, who actually sort of in a sense physically made a lot of this happen. He's the VP of operations. And it's fantastic to work very closely with people like this. Of course, huge thanks to María and Nicolas for their engagement in leading up to this and leading this session. And there's fortunately for us at PMI and the people who are, whose faces you see here, a lot of people in the background who are very important in making this happen, be it creating the PDU code, be it being part of the testing team, be it part of the social media team who get the message out there, the newsletter team that are very important in making sure that this is communicated up front, and of course our journalists who make a nice effort to share this experience with everybody else afterwards. So many thanks to you guys, and of course do feel free to have a quick look at the PMI Switzerland website and do become a volunteer, because it is a fantastic experience.
Thank you.
The picture.
Yeah, I want to say thank you also to Patrick, who has been helping us to prepare that. Thank you, and thank you, Nico. Thank you to all of you.
It was a pleasure for all of you, and your share experience is great. It's always great. Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Just to let you know, of course, there's a lot of other things happening. We are running out of time, so do have a look at the PMI Switzerland events page, and do think if there are things that if you've lot of appetite, a lot of unanswered questions, you want to take things further, do let us know. We can perhaps set up another session very quickly in 3 to 4 weeks around this topic. So the most important slide now, of course, is the feedback. Do scan this QR code or copy this tiny URL. Okay, please do make a note of this. Your feedback is very important. It'll help us get things better next time. It'll help us maybe create that next event for you. And for you who are PMI certified, to do note your PDU claim code. Okay, so it's all there for you. I will put these things into the chat for everybody as well, in case that's easier for you. So there's the feedback form. Please have a look at that, and please make a note of the PDU claim code.
So maybe I want to have this minute to say thank you to you, Patrick, and the team, and to María and Nicolas for this interesting, completely different as usual event and workshop. I think this is a new experience, and I hope to get more of this experience. For me personally, what I miss is I'm old-fashioned. I'm not a PO. I'm not so agile. I'm a waterfall, and at the end of the waterfall project, I always have a Q&A. So I still have a lot of open questions that not matches before. So maybe, Patrick, it's a good idea to have another session about project owner, where we can also have a little bit time at the end to raise the questions, because there was so many interesting information, and you know, good information raises always a new question. So thank you for the session tonight, and I hope to get more.
Thank you very much,
Thanks
Stefan.
for the direct feedback. Thanks.
Very important feedback, because Stefan Weisemeier is the board member responsible for events. So take this on board, of course. So again, as I say, do have a think. If it makes sense to sort of have another session, we can do a lot of other things, and to make sure that you have all those answers, all those questions to all your answers.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, Stefan. Would you like to have like a Q&A session about product owner? Just only to think about the format.
No, not an extra Q&A session. Now we learned a lot of about PO, and you ask us questions, and we have to work your format. So, yes. But if I have another question that does not match to your question, I cannot raise it in between. So at the end, I should be some minutes time for the normal questions, let me say.
Okay, okay. Thank you for the feedback. We will take it into consideration for the next time. And we will think about how we are going to make something that is going to be okay for you. I mean, where you will
as a group.
It was very okay for me.
It was great. And the feedback, the direct feedback is always good, and it's very great from you.
This is what is called in Agile retrospective, no? This is the last part of all the Agile things. We were missing maybe that.
Well, I think we can hang on a few extra minutes for those people who want to. Otherwise, please do use the customized feedback form that we've created for you, and look forward to seeing you next time.
But yes, I have to say goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks.
Goodbye.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
And stay safe.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Ciao.
Bye. Bye-bye.
My pen went.
Patrick, we say goodbye, or you want to stay?
Yes, I think we finished the meeting. So okay. Thank you very much to everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Ciao,
I
ciao.
really enjoyed.
Thanks.
It was great.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I think.
Bye-bye.
We see each other Thursday, correct?